when embodiment becomes evidence. I want to share with you a moment yesterday that made me stop and realize that right now who I am and the life that I am living is something that I dreamed of being. The life that I have right now, the person that I am, is who I dreamed up and I was called to be 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago. That moment of clarity deepened my courage, my commitment, and my conviction as my new currency as I work and walk and weave towards the next level of imprinting my dreaming, my warrior heart mandate and movement into becoming an embodiment, a custodian, and a steward of dreaming and weaving the Kilalana Foundation and the Warrior Heart movement and mandates into the world, grassroots and global, through my own story and example, through the spaces that I'm creating, and the people that are going to be activated and becoming a part of these collectives. The fact that, so I looked at some stuff around spirituality and the fact that it was a full moon on the 6th and the 7th of October, and that this was a supermoon in Aries, which is warrior, and that this full moon is the start of a trilogy, that November and December are also full moons where we're being gifted the opportunity to close out 2025 in a way that really honors what is, but also really lays the foundations for what could be for 2026. And I'd already started doing this process. I recognized that in September. And some significant dates happened in September that were full circle moments. And if you are new here and you're not familiar with my journey, my name is Chantal Thompson. I'm a proud Barkindji Yimpa woman, so I'm an Indigenous woman from Australia. I'm also a very proud mum of 5 children and Anishan to many more. They call me Namika, which means mum in Barkindji, and I am the Barkindji warrior heart, weaving and dreaming my mandate, my vision, my power into the world through who I'm being, my journey, my story, and the work that I'm here to do and those I'm here to serve. And I'm building from survival to sovereignty, from coming out of the hardest years of my life where suicidal ideation was a very real thing, multiple trying to suicide, and building from the ground up, from breaking open every part of breaking my own heart, from ending a 20-year relationship, from walking away or people walking away from me, relationships and dreams that no longer aligned with my truth when I refused to continue to self-abandon in order to be loved or to love, and refusing to continue to move from burnout and autopilot as a way of leading and serving. So, excuse my cat. So there has been so many moments that have broken me, that have shattered me. And yet I realized that I was seeing, and I labeled this season as moving from survival to sovereignty, crisis and chaos, because I was focusing on what I don't have rather than what I do have. And I was looking at who I'm becoming rather than who I already am. And having these places as a meeting place, as bridging identities. And I've been doing a lot of inner work on neuroscience, manifesting, ancestral spirituality, and nervous system regulation on myself, because I've recognized that things that I was doing in the past aren't working for me anymore. And I've started doing some research on getting diagnosed for ADHD, PTSD, neurodivergence, executive dysfunction are all new terms to me. And watching videos on this and learning from it is like, wow, it's really holding it for me. Hold that thought. I've just got someone calling me. Thank you for your patience. So that's my introduction, and I'm now weaving the Warrior Heart global and grassroots. If you want to know more about this, subscribe, leave a comment that you've been here, that you've gotten to this point and you're at the Warrior Heart moment, and come and check out my free community over on School where we activate our Warrior Hearts. And if you're already on board, you can join the Warrior Heart Inner Circle where we go deeper, where we are held accountable and we are walking together to be the warrior hearts in our own life experiences by coming home to ourselves. And we are done with autopilot, self-abandonment, burnout, and survival mode as a way of life rather than a season or a moment. If this is speaking to you, come and join my $50 a year school. It's a community, it's a space, and if you feel like you need some extra support or you're really ready to take things to the next level, you can book a one-to-one call with me for $97. So if any of these speak to you, look on my socials or look below where you're finding this call and you'll find a link to lead you there. So this moment of clarity that I am the warrior heart in my own life, that I am already living my dreaming from someone who I was 5 years ago, 10, 15, 20 years ago. And I looked ahead and I said to myself, my higher self was speaking to me and said, this is who you're becoming. This is who you need to become in order for the dreaming to become possible. And what happened over the last few days is that I've had to own my shit. I've had to do some really, really hard things and face some really, really hard moments. And I had to fight myself and fight for myself to get to those moments. It wasn't just about the taking the action. It was actually being in the action, because there's some things that have happened that are collateral damage in my life as a result of being unwell for the last 2 years. And me being unwell for the last 2 years has risked hospitalization, has risked weeks, days of shutdown and not being able to get up and cope because of the suicidal ideation and the postpartum depression and psychosis that I was experiencing. And yet, even despite going through all that, I still kept a roof over my children's head, food on the table, funding their dreams, the doors of my organization open and people employed, my people safe and loved. Was there harm done during that time? Was there consequences done in that time? Wow. Let me finish recording this and then I'll be there straight there. And this is me recording this in real time, messy, real, and documenting the journey with you. This isn't something that is polished and post 5 years from this date. This is all happening in real time. So the moment that clarified all of this is that I have been taking action to own my own shit and break through my own victim mentality and take responsibility for the reality that I'm in. Not blaming myself, but being accountable to being the person who is going to create the change and the shift of my teeth needing a dental clean. And that was one of the most violating and painful experiences that I've had mentally, spiritually, and physically. I had to do it over 2 appointments. I had to have the money to invest, I had to follow through, and I had to face the shame and the grief of why my teeth had gotten into that point in the first place, and then the pain I had to go through to look after them, and then have to sit with what the reality is of, because of this, of what comes next. And that goes for my finances, my income, my plan, my family, everything. So in this season, it's stopping and looking up and going, right, shit, this is where we are. What needs to be taken responsibility for, and what's the plan to get us to safety and stability and sustainability? So I've been doing this, right? Yesterday, my son, I've got 3 children at home for context, my 16-year-old twins and my 4-year-old son. And then I have other kids weaving in and out, because here's the thing. My heart fills up. I get energy from my house being full. I know my kids are safe, they're active, and my office is not an open, it's not a closed office. So there's my lounge room. And the kids were there yesterday playing video games and I'm here working. And I could hear it all and I wasn't distracted by it. I was grounded by it. So what happened was I had appointments and moments of wealth are coming through because I've been doing the inner work. I've been taking the action. I've been doing the neuroscience work of shifting the coding in my brain, the thought patterns, building the bridging identities. And I'm starting to recognize and move from gratitude and being wealth, being money, being the dreaming, so that it's not something outside of myself, it's something that comes from me, through me, and by me. And deepening my conviction and the clarity that I'm called and chosen for all of this, that I'm imprinting it, that I'm the embodiment of, and the custodian and the steward of the dreaming and the story of the Warrior Heart and the Kilana Foundation that is my mandate to bring to the world through movement and safe spaces. So sitting with all this, moments of wealth, moments of opportunity coming. I'm in preparations to go to Alice Springs next week to speak at the Social Good Summit with amazing leaders from all over Australia. This is coming off of the back of Tuesday, being on national TV and being staunchly myself and unapologetic in my perspectives that Indigenous wealth and empowerment is the baseline for our work, not our deficit and our trauma. And having national conversations with other national leaders on SBS while being at home with my family and building. And that moment became possible because of a seed, an article that I wrote 4 years ago. All while being myself and doing the work of coming home to myself. More and more getting stronger in being bravely and boldly myself and sovereign and self-determined in how I show up. So the moment that brought the clarity that I'm already living my dream life, I'm already sovereign and self-determined. I'm already the warrior heart in this version of me. And the reason I didn't see it is because I was looking at who I wasn't. I was looking at what I didn't have rather than what's already in play and what I do have. My son called me or messaged me from school and said, "Hey, Mum, can my friends come over and can you pick them up in the bus?" So for context, I have a 14-seater bus for the community program and I have an 8-seater Kia Carnival, which I have as a deliberate choice because I like to ensure that I can provide access and opportunity to my own children, but also to the extended family and young people. So I said yes, and I got excited. My son wants and feels comfortable and safe enough to bring his friends to our house. And he was playing basketball, and the idea was that the friends were coming over to do schoolwork together, to hang out, but also for my son and two of his friends to coach some of the other friends who are new to basketball. So it was all sharing and building. So while I'm sitting here, yeah. Wow, that's amazing. You did so good. Oh, I like that picture at the top.
Yeah, but I'm going to put pillars in between here, like the Greek pillars.
Yeah, that'll be a good idea. Well, do you need to finish that this morning?
I don't know. I'm going to get ready first, and if I have time, I'll finish it.
Okay, do that first.
But I'm waiting for Mum again.
Thank you for showing me.
It's okay.
Told you, real time. And I could press pause, I could hide it, but no. You need to see that I'm living this. So the moment was that my son wasn't at the time that my son called me. So what happened was my son called me, I said yes. So I'm in the middle of doing the life admin for home. Had a house inspection yesterday. I had a team meeting with my team of Killarney, checking in with them because we currently don't have any funding. We don't have any confirmed funding coming in. We have applications pending. We're figuring out what we can do to generate revenue, all the things. So it's just doing a check-in on, are we committed to still staying on board? Had a house inspection. I had to clean up my house. My dogs went missing, so I had to pick them up from the pound. My son got really pissed and shitty at me. My 4-year-old woke up in the middle of the night because I wasn't in bed with him, and he's yelling at me saying, "You don't love me because you work too much." And then he's crying and upset and saying, "I'm worried about you." And this is all happening in real time. And yet I stayed grounded and focused. I didn't spiral. I responded. So I showed up. I paid and organised my kids' basketball for their sports for the season. I figured out a budget. I was physically present and emotionally present. I was present for my kids. I got to take them to school. I got to pick them up. I have a vehicle and a home that can do that. I'm in my own home. I paid my rent and my bills yesterday because of income that I have generated from my business. And I am single. I'm sovereign in this household, in my relationship. I don't have to compromise. I don't have to leave parts of myself behind or hide parts of myself because I'm not safe, I'm not enough, I'm not allowed, I'm not wanted in this version of me. I don't have to compromise who I am to exist in my own space. My home is a sanctuary. My home is a ceremony. My home is the birthplace, is the building for the work that I'm doing at a grassroots, a national and a global level, while being mum, being present for my kids, my family, and being here and for what's to come. So the moment where the clarity came is I'm sitting here and I can hear the kids. They've just finished playing video games. They've had snacks or whatever, and I've picked them up, had good yarns, and they're outside playing basketball. And I can hear my son and my other niece daughter, Shakia, coaching Jada, my son's twin sister, and their cousin, and coaching some of the other kids. And I went out and I just watched them. They're playing basketball because I got a home that was big enough to allow them to play basketball in our yard, in a basketball ring that I was able to buy as a gift for my son's birthday, as an investment in his basketball dream from money that I generated from my business. And I just stood there and it just took it all in that I don't have to compromise with other people to have kids in my house. My kids feel safe enough and okay enough to bring kids to their home. And they know that they can ask me to do the admin of that. And they're building skills in sport, in life, in leadership, in culture, in community. And I'm sitting here working on my book, working on my business, doing all the things. And then at 5 o'clock, I'm going to go pick up my little one who I can send to daycare where he's safe and he's learning while I'm working. And then we're going from daycare to the gym because I'm not compromising on my time to be well within myself. And my gym time is non-negotiable. It is the foundations of what I'm building. And I went to the gym and I hit some really big numbers. I hit 140 kilo deadlift. I hit a 70 kilo bench. Like, I'm hitting these numbers. Last week I hit a 205 kilo hip thrust. 95 to 100 kilos on any given day. I'm 41. I've had 5 kids. I'm a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I'm a 3-time world champion. And I'm training and I'm building my dream of owning my own gym in the next 12 to 18 months, of becoming a black belt world champion, because that's the only world title, that's the only level that I haven't won a world title yet, is at black belt. I'm a blue belt, purple belt, and brown belt world champion. I'm a 3-time world champion in a sport that I started for therapy and connection. And I do jiu-jitsu as my playtime and my therapy. I compete for fun. I just became a 2-time national champion without training jiu-jitsu full-time, because where I live, there's nowhere that I feel is a good fit for me to train jiu-jitsu. So in order to have that dream of being able to do jiu-jitsu every day without being my own training partner, I'm building a business plan and a pathway to open up my own gym. So the moment was that while I was standing there watching my son and my daughter play basketball with their friends in our home that my business paid for, I'm sovereign and self-determined in the home, in how I use my time, in where I can invest my money, where my money flows and where it comes from. I'm doing work that I love, that I'm called for. I have amazing people building this dreaming with me. My kids are safe. I've been able to provide for them now, but I'm also providing for their future and their dreams. And I'm taking care of myself, and I'm breaking the cycles of the things that are getting in the way of that. And I'm not doing it from a place of burnout, self-abandonment, or survival mode. And I'm doing it bravely and boldly as me, in everything, without apology and without seeking permission. And me being the warrior heart is walking into a room as the Bike and warrior, like my ancestors called me into the room. And however people receive or respond to that is none of my business. My inner peace, my Kung Fu Panda season, my inner peace is my truth. Anything that takes me away from myself or takes me away from my peace or my self-trust doesn't belong, or I need to adjust how I'm approaching it. That was the moment when I realized it was the evidence, that the embodiment became evidence that I am living. And I was just too busy looking at the future rather than what I already have. And now it's learning about how do I hold space for both those truths, to be able to be in this moment and acknowledge what I already have, whilst being called by the next level, that bridging identity towards that bigger vision, to constantly just be showing up. And this moment of truth was a reckoning. My commitment, my conviction, and my courage became my currency, because that moment was a new seed being planted of power and possibility and potential, and being given this vision, this sight from my higher self of what the next level looks like. And what I know to be true is that the next level from here is the foundations for what's to come after that. We're only ever shown what we're capable of, because if the ancestors showed us everything, God, the universe, whoever you believe in, we would run, we would shut down, we wouldn't believe that it's possible, because we're limited by the version of ourselves that we are now. And often what limits us the most is who we believe ourselves not to be, rather than who we believe ourselves to be. And the most powerful thing we can do is take responsibility for our own shit, because there's a lot of people who like the smell of their own shit and who will fight to stay in their shit. There are facts. There are a lot of people who profit and are making their millions off of our trauma, our dysfunction, our pain, and who will lose out if we become well and strong. So I'll leave that for another day. This warrior heart is being built out loud. I'm documenting the journey as I go, and I'm figuring shit out as I go, because I've never done this before. I've never been this version of me. My ancestors are showing me the way. I literally know the next step, sometimes not even that. And I'm doing it while healing myself, breaking intergenerational chains of trauma and dysfunction, whilst remembering and reclaiming ancient ways of being and doing, and weaving, indigenizing myself and weaving that into the modern day context, and having the courage to evolve how I weave what is now, what was, and what is to become together in how I show up, in how I be and do, using ancient principles and practices, protocols, and governing decisions for how I move through the world, how I do my work, how I live my story. So it's here. Everything that I dreamed about is already here. I was just too focused on what was next to honor and respect what was already here, and that I'm already being all of this. So I'm being and becoming all at the same time. So I hope this serves you in some way. I hope this activates and honors you in some way. And if this speaks to you, if you are someone who is done living with your own shit, or your shit is done with you and you're done with burnout and self-abandonment as a way of life, as a way of living and loving and leading, hit me up, comment here, heart, and I'll follow up with you. Come and check out my free community over on School, where we do more of this. We activate your warrior heart. There's a 7-day challenge in there. There's calls in there. There's resources in the classroom. There's an active community of people in there. I'm in there every day. Then I have my paid community, where there's more mentorship. There's more active guidance. There's more behind the scenes sharing. $50 a year for the Warrior Heart Inner Circle. That's crazy, you mob. And then if you need some help, or you're ready to just dive in and you want a roadmap, you want to be seen, you want to be held, book me for a one-to-one call. Look out for event dates, because the Warrior Heart's going on the road, both virtually and in person, across multiple locations: Broken Hill, Alice Springs, Melbourne, Mildura, potentially New Zealand, all before the end of the year. And just as exciting, keep an eye out for a glimpse, a pre-release of my Warrior Heart, the memoir, manifesto, and mandate that is coming out February 14th, 2026, a book that has been years in the making. I hope this serves you in some way. I hope this honors you, and I hope you can feel my genuine energy and fire right now. And the gratitude for this moment of clarity, that just from my son asking me, can his friends come over, and from them playing in the backyard, that I am already sovereign and self-determined. Yes, I'm in survival mode in some areas, and yes, there's some crisis and chaos, and yet I'm showing up. I do not have to self-abandon, and I do not have to stay in survival for this to be my reality. I'm already the warrior heart. I'm already bravely and boldly myself. I'm healing and I'm still becoming, and yet who I'm being is already here, and who I am and the life I have is something that I was called for and that I was dreamed and mandated to do 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago. And that is a really fucking powerful moment. Big love you, mob. Warrior heart.